Alright guys, here is another instance of using OAuth for your applications or demos on shortcuts. This instance we're going to use Schwab. It also requires OAuth authentication. With them you have to reroute the redirect URI to local server, local host at 127.0.0.1. This is the original method I was using shortcuts. You get your application key, which is your client ID. You're going to show web view. You're going to copy that manually. So you're going to click copy it to clipboard. Then we're going to extract the code. That's our authentication code. And then we're going to run a script to grab our JSON files with our tokens. Instead of saving it to my files folder, I started saving it to database. So I set up a database to keep track of my tokens. That way I can extract this, since I'm using a little bit more Python on this side of things. But so let's say I'm doing stock alerts here. I'm basically just storing my tokens locally. So for example, check tokens. Let's see, is it this one? Nope. I don't believe it's this one. Let me see. Yep, so my tokens are still valid. So as you can see here, right, and we're going to go ahead and demonstrate it again, going through this process. But basically I'm storing it on the database instead of storing it on those local files, just for easier processing and use as we go on making these things, right, these demonstrations. So for example, let's go ahead. This is what it looked like originally. We'll go ahead and log in. And here's the part where you have to click copy manually and then click done. And then it'll go through that process and refresh your tokens and do all of that. I don't want to have to click copy and done. It's too many button presses, additional button presses that you don't need. So this is the original shortcut, and this is the new one. Significantly reduces the amount of steps. So we're going to launch the server in the SSL format. For an SSL server, local server, you do need to get a your certificate and key. You can do that using ish, the shell command here, this application right here, and then you apk install OpenSSL, and then once you do that, it'll save it to your ish folders. Just copy that somewhere where pythonista or whatever app you're going to use can access it. And I'll show you what the script looks like on that side as well. So we're going to launch the server, give it a second or two, and then we're going to get our client ID, open up the URL, grab our authentication token. It's going to auto return here. That token is going to then launch the second script, which is going to store our tokens into our database. So let me just demonstrate what this looks like now. I'm going to sign in. There you go. And now we're done. And when you go back to the notes here, you can see that the tokens have been stored successfully. So as you can see here, access token changed. I like to look at the last four, GCS at, right? And the last one was, as you can see up here, the last one we checked was this one here, right? So you can see that it's definitely changing it, and it is working. So now I can go and run my market data analysis checks and all that stuff, right? And if I click refresh token, we'll see that it does refresh the tokens, and the token just refreshed again. So 42, let's go ahead and refresh it again. So 42.20, right? So you see it's obviously working. All right. And this is what the script looks like, guys. Let me show you the don't need this anymore. All right, so the regular HTTP server is what it looks like. You can pause it, go over that, and then the SSL one is this one right here. So I'm reaching out for my cert files and key file right here, so that we can authenticate properly. And then what I had to do for that to actually work, I had to add it as a profile locally. Otherwise, it would add it's not a safe site. But since it's just under development, you add it to your profiles and you'll see your certificate under trusted certificates. So it's this one right here. So it won't ask me to authorize the certificate every time. And that's about it.